Puja. Greetings. I am Sunu Satnahasra. Welcome to our early morning ancient Egyptian devotional dedicated to Goddess Net in all her mystic forms, gods and goddesses, who are derived from her transcendental essence. The liturgy, which you will be able to see on screen, is recited in ancient Egyptian language, the Medu Neter. English and Brazilian Portuguese translations is provided for you. You can see these translations on screen directly below the hieroglyphic text transliteration. You are welcome to participate by chatting along in your worship space, home, or wherever you may happen to be. During the service, or you are also welcome to listen quietly in a contemplative mode. Following the devotional, Uwashu in the Kemetic language, recitation of the liturgy, and meditation, Uwa in the Kemetic language, we will have a brief wisdom, Rek in the Kemetic language, teaching by Sehu Khepera, leader and priest of the Shetaut Neter Temple of Net. Before we begin, please remember to mute all devices. We will now begin. Presented on the screen at the moment is a stone-carved depiction of the facing pylons of the Temple of Net from the statue of Henet. On the left and right sides are the pylons in which one of the symbols of Goddess Net sits atop a papyrus standard. Her emblem is her two arrows crossed and tied to her shield. This symbolizes the protection and in this the sun Net Nesumer Pu Neter Emine Jeff Nesu Hetetine Perkeru Menket Mert Hep Sedneb Enkan Gary Pertep SSM Hetne Ina Net Nesumer Pu Neter Emine Jeref Nesu Hetepti Net Perkeru Menket Mert Heb Set Net Kain Gary Heb Hertep SSN Het Na Ena Ren F Jetta Et Nesumer Puneter Ine Jedef Nesu Hetef Dinet Heru Menget Mert Heb Set Net Kain Gary Heb Hertep SSN Het Na Ena Ren F Jetta Net Nesumer Puneter Emine Jedef Nesu Heteptinet Perkeru Menket Mert Heb Set Neb Enkaen Gary Heb Hertep SSN Het Net Ena Ren F Jetta Uamu Kerefu FM Heru Akuti Hanate Jekera Nefer Nebuben Duamu Kerefu FM Heru Akuti Hanate Jekera Nefer Nebuben Duamu Kerefu FM Heru Akuti Hanate Jekera Du Kerefu FM Heru Hanate Jekera Nefer Neb Adi Jensek Kef Uru Nesuti Hatep Net Perkenu Didi Eskau Abamunet Nefer Shepsi Didi Eskau Abamunet Nefer Shepsi Net Nefer Shepsi Seteka sekert. Aku sari nahas. Ubed center. Set emka. Devtotional neter. Uni entet. Hena yashem neter. Asar. Erdit. Tendek. En ari heru. Hena herme. Endes. Ari heru. Ahus tuatapi. Ari sedge. Ab uwa neter. Abu penha asar. Abu pen asar. Spur and Heru. Beat Bert. Nehas sa. Wajit pa neter. Asa ari Heru. Het and Aset. Abuyen Tutjen. Meduje yan. Aset sam ujat. Setep sa her amseti. Enti amsa asar. Sa amset. Asar amset. Meduje nebehet. Tap shetan. Ari besa. Her happy. Enti sa asar. Sa happy. Asar. Pu happy. Meduje yan. Net seduara. Semesha ri. Net Ari maket en. Dua mutef. Enti amsa asar. Sa dua mutef. Asar pu dua mutef. Meduje yan. Circuit. Inka ke sakedat. Sa ru. Neb. Ari maket en kwebsunef. Entet. Amsa asar. Sa kwebsunef. Asar pu kwebsunef. Yanatura. Emuen. Duacheta. Yanatura. Emuen. Duacheta. Nebejer medut. Anatet sherke asar. Putra. Masti sape. Setu sakake. Nebejer dijet. Anatet hirt asar. Akti. Nebejer dijet. Anatet hirke asar seta. Sir. Utra. Makti sake. Setu sakake. Never je. Anatet ke asa. Utra. Makti sake. Setu sakake. Adi Jen Seker. Adi Duaker. Ekal Uashu. Net net duanet. Sefekera sehues. 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 Ooh, 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 ah, ooh, 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 Alpha, ooh, Alpha, ooh, ooh, sa, se, ooh, sa, se, Om Asara Seru Om Asu Akeru Heru Heru Materu Heru Ma Se 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 Nebeter, Nuke Nebeter, Nefer Ventra, and Atum Nefer Ventra, and Atum Nefer Ventra, and Atum Nefer Ventra, and Atum Makeru Manager Makeru Ba Manager Makeru Ba Makeru Ba Manager Kua 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 Nukma Nukmat Nukma Nukmat 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 Nukut 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 Rasa 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 Asa 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 Tete au Angere Uas Henan Nefu Erkepetu Embeat Emdejasu Sunum Ayam Hotel Wa Suja Heru Suja Minut Nebu Sen F Suja au Itu Yasor Nesheshu Nebu Emhu Shemu Met Metu Tau Sep Nebu Nashterta Guamente, Heru kut teken, an apt, tesu em, ena, sefa, afra, digit kat, ena asa peta keperu, nidut ra, kat, nefi asa keperu, uahai, uaker. Nuk aset, perke nayet, rat enau seter, sa medu en jehuti, tep, mahat, pet, ta atert, aset, neter, nefer, ger, pu anxeske, a ament, sa enken, pu enen, au ready nepcap, dit etep, her, ent, tawi, uahai, uaker. Heru makeru, Heru makeru, Heru makeru, Heru makeru. Nerai mesra, Nerai mesra, Nerai mesra, Nerai mesra. Nuk kepra, amduau, ora emahauf, temu ami meseri. Nuk kepra, amduau, ora emahauf, temu ami meseri. Nuk kepra, amduau, ora emahauf, temu ami meseri. Uahai, uaker. Neter, neter, Medu Neter, Jesseri, Zigeri, Neter, Neter, Mu, Neber, Ya, Jesseri, Zigeri, Neter, Neter, Mu, Neber, Jesseri, Zigeri. Neter, Mu, Neber, Uwa Shedi, Uwa Tef Aha. Mente, um, oh, 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 Peace, 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 peace. Hetep, dua, hetep.
Greetings. Okay, so bringing up the program now. Okay, so and Sama, please check your phone. I sent you a message. So we're going to put the finishing touches on line 2 of the uh, text that we are covering in the Great Hypostyle Hall in the uh, Karnak Temple, which is the west portion of the southern wall. And at the end, if you could kindly hold on, we'll do a special invocatory prayer for Asarmaat's mom, who transitioned this early this morning. So recall we did the passage of the eye from Jehuti to Heru. And Jehuti is telling Heru that this eye of spiritual insight into the nature of soul is your support on the throne that you have earned through spiritual victory. But to sit on that throne, you need this with you. You need penetrative insight into the intuitional nature of soul. And certain instructions were given to Heru that he has to do the physical ritual, but he also has to do the metaphysical ritual of reaching out, which is expansion in consciousness and awareness of the the essence of the symbol of the eye, which is the discovery of the spirit nature of being. So he has to reach out and he has to get the physical amulet, but he has to get the metaphysical realization as well. And this personality that is being referred to as Heru, let me pull up a nice color. This person who's receiving the eye is a metaphor for you. So essentially, this is what you are to do. As was explained the last time, rituals can go on for a very long time, or they can go on for period of years or doing the ritual at a certain time of year. So your own inner higher divine intellect, meaning your intellect that is informed and attuned to the nature of spirit, is leading you to this special ritual and instructing you that this is what you need for you to be secure on the throne of spiritual victory. So today we're going to go as far as we can to put the finishing touches on this subject, this topic. So here we have the goddess Aset, and on her head is her symbol, which is essentially the throne that Heru sits on, that he needs the eye to be secured in his spiritual victory. Here's the male initiate, and he's doing the customary dual posture to Raharakti, and he is the Asar, so he is the spiritual initiate. Aset is holding a special implement, so she's holding the feather of Ma'at, the feather of truth, meaning she retains the power of truth, of the nature of soul. And in her wing, so she stands like this, and in her wing, she's embracing the Wajet, the eye. And that the eye sits on a special symbol that is Neb. So what it means is that she's holding the fullness of the divine eye and presenting that to Heru, uh, to the Heru, which is the initiate, Asar. So she's presenting that to the initiate, who is performing the customary uh, act of humility, of surrender, of adorations to the divine. So he surrenders to the divine, and she brings him the eye. So he's receiving the fullness of the eye of intuition. And this eye, you remember, Jehuti brings the pupil. And she has four divinities behind her. And these are the grandsons of Asar. So here you have Amset. Here you have Happy. Here you have Duamotev. And here you have Kebsunuf. So she's bringing four of these divinities along with her. He is entreating these four divinities along with Raharakti. So Raharakti represents the vision of spirit, consciousness. Aset represents the fullness of intuition, of realization of spirit. And the four sons of Heru, which is Asar's grandson, each represent 1/16 of the pupil, because recall that the pupil is 1/4. So the four sons of Heru together represent the vision of the soul. So they become encapsulated in the pupil. So the pupil is the totality of the four sons that has the vision of the soul. And you'll see how that is put together shortly. And to show that this has nothing to do with gender, or it has to do with the inner awareness of spirit being, which is essentially genderless. So this is a female initiate, and she's doing the same ritual act, receiving the same mysticism, the same mystic realization as the male initiate. And again, Raharakti He's wearing his crown here. Here is his name, Radharakti. So we know that that's him. And again, a set is embracing the fullness of the intuitional nature realization of spirit. And then you have the four sons who are there as each being 1/16 of the I, the fullness of the I. So she's gaining the insight into soul through the vision of the sons. And she's being led to what Harakti represents, which is the totality of spirit. Here, this is, I believe, from the Penn Museum that we visited. And here is the hawk divinity. Heru is the hawk. And this is an artifact that is a ritual artifact that is created to express the mysticism of these four aspects in relation to the nature of soul. So it's made sort of like a coffin, but it's not a coffin. It does have a lid. And what they do is they take dirt, earth, and they make an effigy of a tsar and wrap it as if it's in mummy wrappings. So they create this artifact. They lay it inside on the bottom, and then the lid goes on top of that. So this is a tsar. So what it means is that each of the four sons, their inner essence is soul, is spirit soul. And therefore, that's how they're able to stand here and actually be aspects or the principles of the inner eye, of the pupil. And this is from the Louvre Museum, and you can see the lid and how they'll put the effigy of a tsar inside. So this is Duamutef, a happy set. So this will be Kebsunuf here. So the idea is that the nature of spirit is within these four sons, and they represent the the pupil. They go into the pupil, and so that is the fullness of the vision of spirit, soul. And so this is what is to occur with the initiate, this vision of soul through your sight of spirit. So bringing what are seemingly opposites and multiplicity together into a wholeness in your vision of soul. So we'll do this one and then we'll save the others for next time. Uh, Here in front of towing the boat. Yeah, so here's the boat of, again, this is Raharakti. We know because here's his name. So it's an aspect of Raharakti. He's holding a long crook, so he leads the flocks to the realization of spirit nature. He holds the flail, so he separates. Yeah, he separates illusion from reality in this context, and he holds the ankh, so he is the disseminator of immortality. And in this boat with him, you have Jehuti in his baboon form. And Jehuti sits on a special pedestal. It's actually the pedestal of Ma'at, of this goddess. So she appears as her goddess form and as a pedestal, and Jehuti sits on the pedestal. So he sits on her symbol. On his desk, on his head, he has the crescent moon, and he has the full moon sitting in the crescent moon. So he represents the reflection of spirit in the mind that becomes all illuminous with spirit nature realization. But he does another very special thing. Whenever you see Jehuti around, you know something special is going to be happening. He actually holds the wajet in his hand. So he's carrying the vision. He's carrying the intuitional vision of spirit nature. He's holding it in the boat. So in the boat is where that spirit nature is discovered, in the boat with Ra Harakti. And what is to happen is that you are to make it in that boat. And when you are in that boat, you are not separate from the divinity, the Ra Harakti. You fuse with him, and you are essentially he in the boat. There's something very special about this boat. So here's the prow, and Goddess Ma'at is standing in the prow. So as the boat moves, she is the primary principle that is moving towards this higher mystic realization. You're going to see why now. But these are two hieroglyphs. It's the same hieroglyph twice. And it's sort of like a dog, and it's pronounced Sab. And Sab means to be dignified, to have dignity, your royalness. And and what this relates to is that the the divinities, the Sabi that are pulling the boat, they are in a dignified position because they are actually towing this boat in which Jehuti sits with the eye, in which there is Ma'at, in which there is Raharakti. So it's that this boat is in a position of a dignified position. So when you inculcate these principles within yourself, when you discover these aspects within yourself, you are a dignified person. You've lost your egoism and your lower propensities, argumentation, fighting, cussing, irritability, anger, uh, lack of patience, lack of resilience in the face of change. When things change, you crumble, and that's not a dignified position. The text states, Ra Herakti Temu Khepri. So this divinity is actually three divinities in one. Ra Harakti, so Heru of the two horizons. Temu, the divinity of the essential essence, the first coagulated essence from which all manifestations have emerged from. Yeah, and the completeness of the the spirit nature of being. And Khepri, the uh the transformative power of creation. So the creator. These all these in one. And then when you are in the boat, you are all these in one. And so you are of a dignified position. And that comes through spiritual victory. So Raharakti Temu Khepri Her Ab Ua Netara Mejat Ankh and Ma'at. So He's the innermost heart, the innermost reality of the both. So the innermost reality of the both is Raharakti Temu Kepri. And not only that, he is the great divinity. And not just any divinity, he's a divinity of mystic nature. And he lives on a certain kind of substance. And what it means, he lives by Ma'at. He lives by truth. And what that relates to is that he lives by the truth of spirit. So if you live by the idea that your physical body, the physical world, your mind, your feelings, your desires are real, you're not living by Ma'at. You're not living by truth. If you of the disposition and the internal experience that materiality is illusory and spirit nature is what is real, then you are living by Ma'at. You're living by truth. So truth relates to the nature of spirit. So in Ma'at philosophy, you have various levels. You have the 42 laws of Ma'at, which are essentially purifying your personality and turning you away from desire and feelings and emotionality and error in life. Yeah, but that's a fundamental truth. That is getting you started on the way to what Ma'at really represents. And what she truly represents is the truth of the nature of spirit. And therefore she is in the boat with Harakti, Raharakti, Temu Kepri. And she is in the boat because this is what he lives on. He lives on the truth of the nature of spirit being. Behind the boat, you have the serpent. Her name is Arat, and Arat means goddess, serpent goddess. And she holds the eye as well. So, and the eye that she's hovering over the boat, but she's carrying the eye with her in her wings as she hovers over the boat. And this part of the eye represents 1/8. So if you have two of them, you have 1/16. So again, this is a sort of like a ancient Kemetic numerology, if you want to call it that, but using the numbers to explain a mystic realization. This part of the eye represents the dissolution of separateness. So the elimination of the perception of duality.